Hello, friends. It's me, Cynthia, and Marty, and Azalea,
Hello.
and we are Greengirlstudios, and this is our Sunday magic hours. So, welcome, friends. Welcome. We're filming live from Asheville. We have returned from Orlando, or at least some of us have returned from Orlando. Azalea never went. She stayed here. I see a comment here. Morphing aside and says, hope you had some good family time and the trip was good. Has Marty forgiven you yet for leaving him? Did he? Doesn't matter that another favorite home was there still loving on him and taking care of him. That's 100% true. Oh, Debbie Smith. Hello, Debbie Smith. You need to see what Azalea's been doing lately, Debbie. You need to see. Not yet, she says. Not yet. Hello, Melanie.
I don't think it's
from
the same.
Florida.
I don't think it's the same.
Nilda. Hello, Nilda. This cat is really trying to get me to do this. Hello, Shannon. Hello, my friends. Hey. So, I'm trying to get it out. See, this is I'm at this point. Marty, look. Listen, you have to wait. I'm getting this out here, and I'm not doing this fast enough. It's kind of stuck in the... It's kind of wedged in here. Come on, honey. Let me get it. He's attacking me. You think he was starved for treats or something? Marty. I don't think he can wait the full time, y'all. He wants them now. This is his favorite. These little chocolates. They're cat chocolates from Fancy Feast. And watch this. He's so crazy. He'll try to scoop them all in one go in one mouthful. Watch this. He's so goofy. Hello, Clem. Hello, Connie. Hello, my friend. Oh, Marty. He scooped like 6 of them in his mouth. Hello, Nilda. Hello, friends. It feels good to be back home. But I will say I was super enjoying being in the Florida weather because it was cold at home. It wasn't cold. It was a little bit cold in Florida. One of the days it was kind of cold. But cold, like Florida cold, not really cold.
Not actually cold.
Not actually cold. Yeah, Morphing does let me help. Yeah, he was like, okay, you're not doing this right. You're too slow on the draw. He's like, where's the rest? It was like, and it's the directions say something like 1 per pound or some such. Hello, Nancy. Hello, Nancy.
Yeah, it was
Hello,
like
Vera.
4 pieces per
Karen.
6 pounds of cat.
Oh, 4 pieces per 6 pounds. How does that mean?
Well, he's
okay,
like...
son, you have to wait. You have to wait till there's...
Or maybe it's 6 pieces per 4 pounds. I can't remember.
You better text your dad and let him know that Marty's out of his treats.
Oh, wow. Those paws are very large. He's ready now.
He's not... Look, he's not jumping down. He's...
Oh! You dropped one, son. Oh, no!
He went after it. Where is it, he said? Honey. Watch, he can levitate on this.
That jump was good.
Okay, it's empty. Look. It's like a magic trick. I gotta show him. Like there's nothing left. If you want, there's like only a couple pieces left for the end. You have to be patient. And it's here. But you have to wait. The last 4 pieces. That's your reward. Not on the table yet. So, hello, Jeanette. I'm not sure. Azalea, look over here and see if it's the Debbie that you're thinking of. So we actually have 3 Debbie Smith customers.
Not Debbie Smith. We have 3 Debbies. There's only 1 Debbie Smith, and it was Debbie Myers that sent me the yarn. Yeah.
Hello, Jeanette. Jeanette, you know what, Jeanette? We were just talking about you and saying we have to let you pick your pearl because I just noticed them over there. I'm like, I don't think we sent that necklace to Jeanette. She hasn't seen it yet, so she's gonna wanna. I'll just send you the best one out of a lot of those pearls. One of them has 4 pearls on it, so that's probably what I'll send you. Hello, Ann Gardan, my friend. I see Terry. All right. So I got the wrong Debbie. So Azalea is making a sweater. So
it's gonna be a star cardigan out of some yarn that Debbie Myers sent me about a year ago or so, I think. And I'm just now kind of getting to this and figuring out that this is what I wanted to do with it because it's such nice yarn. I didn't want to waste it on something that was kind of lame. So
It's an epic.
It's going to be a full cardigan. I'm using all 4 skeins of this like kind of oil slick color.
Here, you got to show it while you're
I will show it in a second, but I'm currently seeing it.
It.
I will show it when it's time. It's not time yet. We've got to show other stuff first. Maybe later. But it's not in the state to be shown yet because it doesn't look like much. I still have to seam the back.
All right, friends. Here's what we're doing today. Since we drove, okay, I don't know if you know this, if you're not East Coast people, but from Asheville to Orlando with no stops. If you don't stop, it's 8 hours. Now, if you have to stop, which I do, I have to stop, then it's every time you stop, it adds on. So for us, it takes us about 10 hours to do the full ride. And we left late in the day because we were doing a game. We were going to play a game with my mom. We started it the night before, and we were playing a game called Hand and Foot. Some might know it as Canasta. I don't know the other versions of the game. It's a really long game. And our family, it's like our family card game. Like my mom and my grandma, my whole family, they're card players. And they're really good. I'm only okay at playing cards. Oh, I see Wendy. How clumsy. That jump was otherworldly. He has some lift. You guys want to see his face when he smells something fruity? Watch this. He didn't do it that time. Usually he's like, he makes his face.
He scrunches his face up.
As if they made this mocktail for me. It's in this really tall glass. Flowers came in this, but I liked it because it made me feel like, you ever look at the Goddess Boys on Instagram? They make those beverages. And they put in a drink, and they'll put all this stuff, and they always serve in a really tall glass. I was like, I want me a tall glass too. This is actually a vase. But why'd you make that face, Azalea? She's so exasperated. When he says, "Hi everyone, how was the trip? How was your mom?" Mom was good. She was happy when we were there. I felt like she's kind of in this sort of world where she just has a TV on all the time. I get it because I do the same thing when I'm by myself, or pretty much anytime I'll have YouTube playing like nature sounds or whatever it is. Usually food making, some variation of food making. And I don't know, I just feel like, I think she'd be happier. She's happy in Florida. Ultimately what she wants is for me to move to Orlando. And it's
the
so
whole
hard.
family. She wants the whole family.
It's so hard because she has mobility issues, and I don't want to go, and I don't want to leave her. So that was my big thing. It's like I want to take my mom with me wherever was going on during the weekend, but she has mobility because she can't walk very well. So we were kind of limited to doing like really short trips or driving around, and then like looking out at the really short stops. I was thinking about getting her. I was like, listen, I need to get you a stroller. And then we can take turns using it. See, she wouldn't, if I said wheelchair, there's no way she would get into it. But if I said adult stroller, she's like,
Wouldn't even need to be an adult.
Then I was like, listen, as I said, she wouldn't even need to be an adult one because mom's tiny. Mom's like,
she's like 4 feet. She's literally 4 feet tall. She's shorter than me.
She's like 4 feet
tall.
Like
I can rest my chin on the top of her head.
I have the one and only time that I ever feel like I'm taller than somebody. Shannon says, Canasta is so fun. Grew up playing it in many other games. Hope you had a nice visit with your mom. Yeah, my brother was there. If I had my phone, I'd show you some goofy pictures we tried to take, but I'm using my phone, so I can't show my pictures. I'll drop them in. I wanted to drop them in there. But let me flip this around. And what I thought we would do today is we do some painting on here. I don't know if everyone feels like doing that, but I needed some kind of recuperation time, just a little bit of time to sort of get my bearings. Okay, I'm going to hook this thing up here. Bear with me a moment. I'm flipping the cameras around. Yeah, something's buzzing. Is that me? We're all like, who's buzzing?
It's mine. I turned off my phone. Or I turned off my notifications, but that was mine.
Oh, wow. All right, let me get back to the spot. Where am I? Hello, my friends. Some water for this action. Oh, and I wanted to show this. So On New Year's, get this other light happening. So the light's a little bit. So some nice lights happening in here. Okay, that's a little bit better. Oh, we need to. Our camera just went out.
Which one?
This one.
I have it on Do Not Disturb, and it's like my phone forgot what that means.
Oh, here it goes. You got it. The camera, Azalea, you already got it.
It was rotated the wrong way. Here we go. Sorry. Hopefully that's right, because on the screen up here it looks like it's way zoomed in.
No, looks good. I'm gonna put this. This is the other light. Go ahead and turn it on until I get in here and do the thing, so it's not just burning. I want it for this part. All right. Oh, these are some that I've painted before. Oh, and I see Nilda. What's this, Azalea?
What's wrong?
Yeah, what is that?
What is it?
So I'm going to paint some of these. Thought we could do some. And the reason, I'm going to spread some of these out. These weren't on the website. We had them and we made them. But for whatever reason, like the wax was just taken a picture of. But all these guys, they were on the site. So we gathered up a bunch of them. And maybe if you could drop a link.
To which one?
Or to the new stuff. You know, like, did you make a new page? Wow, this is super old. Check this one out. It's so old.
I can try. It's just difficult to do it while you're streaming.
Oh, I thought you might have done it earlier. But anyway, we have if there was a page that's new of all the stuff that's been put on the site, maybe we can
That's usually how
isolate.
it goes, but I mean, I don't know. We can probably just type in. There should be a filter thing when you go to the search bar, or like when you just click on the home page on our website, there's a filter that shows newest, so then it just shows you the newest listings. So there's no specific page for the newest, it's just a filter.
Oh, I see.
Because I can't make a page for that because it has no specifications unless I would.
You went and hashtag it.
Unless I would have to go through and hashtag everything new, but then it would get muddled and it wouldn't sort it by actual newest.
You would just have to do it, whatever that's like. I actually don't know. Anyway, if you're interested, you could type in some of these. They're new. They're on the website. We'll go and as I'm painting them, we can maybe find some. I don't know. We'll just drop a regular link to the main page. But this is that drawing or painting I did on New Year's Eve. Dwayne and I and Greg and Max were walking around my mom's property. And it's like a little forested area. They own about 5 acres on a lake in the middle of Orlando and kind of the suburb called Oviedo. And it's a little nested away from, it's like really quiet and calm. And there are all the time birds, like sandhill cranes come over there. There's all different kinds of hawks and things. And imagine our heads are like right here. And as I was turning, this beautiful owl flew right in front of our faces. It was so epic. Couldn't hardly believe it. It was so beautiful. And I only saw it for a couple seconds, but I knew it was a great horn just from the coloration and the flash of gold I saw in the eyes. Quick look. So I knew what it was by the way that I could. So what I saw was this shape. And I saw the coloration and like light patterns. I didn't get details. So what I did was I found a picture of an owl that was what in my mind looked like. And I looked at that picture. So I guess I took a picture in my mind and then tried to find another picture on the internet that compared, if that makes any sense. I don't know. But I took a conglomeration of different pictures and built it kind of Frankenstein-like with just the shape. And I looked at different pictures for the tail detail and then altered it for the light. So anyway, that was what I think I'm going to put more brown because it was more brown in the sun. Since this is on a black background, the sky was not quite this dramatic. It was more luminous. So this is a very dramatic background. So it could be lightened up. But anyway, I was happy with it. This is kind of an interesting product. This is the stone paper that we were experimenting with acrylics and gel medium or matte medium. And wow, it's kind of an interesting, like, check out this. It's so crazy. There was a little bit of where I burnt it a little bit. I kind of burnt the paper with that dryer. But this has a weird feeling. And I think I could draw on top of it. But you know what I use these for? I will put pieces like if I took a picture of this, I'd blow this up, this much of it, blow it up and use it in Pocket Procreate, or I could take pictures with it and use it as a background. Like I'd build, you get some crystals to mount this stuff on. There's a little piece of slag I found in a pond, glass. I don't know. This is not working, but you get the idea. If that could be a background, you know what I mean? Like this is the background table thing. But anyway, that was just from letting paint dry. You know what I mean? It was good times. And I let it kind of do some different patterns. But what was really interesting, I'm going to take this light off so I can show this. I don't know if this is going to be how this will work. We'll see if I can get it to work. Yeah, I'm fooling with this light here. Okay, so check this out. I thought this was kind of cool. Like, you can see through it because it's a transparent. The transparent paper, I don't know if that shows up. Kind of interesting. Anyway, let me see if I could get it to do its thing. I was like, this could make a crazy shade for a light, especially right in here. And this is way too bright, but you get the idea. Look at that, how cool it looks. All right. So anyway, that was pretty fun. And I have if I want to, it is a really nice surface so that it could be used as a drawing surface. I could go on there with pencil or colored pencil or something like that. Okay, so let's do some painting. This is one of my favorite things to do. I shook these earlier because they need to be shaken. And these are patina paints. I got these from our friends over at Vintage. Oh, pardon me. They are the same paints that are in this packaging, but they switched to the smaller size. I'm not sure why they switched to the smaller size. Maybe, I don't know why. Maybe there's some issue. Or I'm not really sure why. But anyway, I usually just use my favorites out of it. I was like, listen, all you need are this. If you ever get these paints, you need blue, red, where's yellow? Yellow, where's white? White and black, and you can make just about anything. What's this like? Iridescent gold. This is nice. It's like I have everything I'm hunting for except the one that I'm looking for. Does that make any sense? Not making any sense today. I told Azalea that I'm still in kind of a daze after driving all night because we got home and it was like 1 or 2 in the morning. It was late. And I was basically lollygagging around all day. Oh, my friend. And then I'm like, Happy New Year, Cynthia. That's my friend. And now I'm drawing a blank right now. Why am I drawing a blank? It'll come to me in like 2 minutes.
Oh, Wendy.
Tom, there it is. Hello, Tom. Hello, Sherry. And Shannon says the colors glow on that paper. They really do. I was like that paper. Can you imagine if you used it? I don't know. I saw these lamps made out of Tyvek. That's that kind of stuff that the mailers are used at the post office. It doesn't rip or stretch or it doesn't rip. Wendy says, I must give kudos to Azalea for her new Depop site. I not only got my peridot ring quickly, but the most lovely thank you note and superb drawing of Marty. Made me feel special, Azalea. Thanks. Wow, that's awesome news.
You are special, Wendy.
Yeah, that's true. Wendy is special. Is sure.
I'm glad you are happy with it. I am pleased. You were my first Depop customer.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Wendy. That's awesome. Very first one. Has always been really happy with how that's been going. Hello, Julie. Hello, Abby. Clem says, I feel dazed from just thinking about how far you drove. It was far. And it was not too bad. We actually had a good time. Usually it can be hard because it's so same. It's so similar with the drive down until you get up to the mountains, but it can kind of hypnotize you in how same it feels. I mean, not like driving across.
Where's the remote? They're starting with some vocals that I am not appreciating. Skip. Sorry, guys.
Give this another shake.
They start seeing some buns, then it's time to go. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm keeping this.
You know, I felt like we had a really fun time. It was really special. I had a nice time with my brother. My older brother, Dwayne, lives there. And the only sad time was when my brother let me ride a bike that he had built from different parts. My brother is a little bit of I would never tell him this in real life because he just goes straight to his head, right? He's kind of a genius. And he builds bikes for fun and he sells them. So anyway, I got on this bike and he's like, feel how light it is. And it weighed less than, I don't even know, it was like less than a bag of sugar. I could lift it with one hand. That's how lightweight this bike is. The whole thing was custom built, like titanium frame. He made the seat and like wrapped the handlebars, like everything on it was something about it was special and unique. And it looked special and unique. And when I got on it, I flew and I was having the time of my life. And then he hopped on his bike and we just wove through the neighborhoods around my mom's house. And I felt like I was flying. It was good times. And then I was sad because I was like, so what do I have to do to get a bike like this? And he's like, it's not for sale. And then I was like, okay, so how do I build my own? And he was kind of like quiet for a while, probably assessing if I could actually do it, you know? But, yeah.
I thought a long time ago he offered to build you a bike.
He did, but maybe he changed his mind. Who knows? Hello, Donna. Matt says, I stayed home and went to sleep. LOL, no recovery necessary. For the holidays. Yeah, I didn't have to, like, that for me was just driving. I wish that we lived closer. That's the only thing I wish. This is a new one. This is actually an old one. I made this, Azalea, when you were born. We used to call this when she'd do superstar arms. Because she used to throw her arms out like this. That's so cute. Made that. That's you, little daughter.
Nice. I'm a little fairy.
Mm-hmm. Azalea's a fairy, and I even made her a hat like that at one point. This is really cute. So what's in this bowl? There was probably 25. How many pieces was it, Azalea?
I have no idea.
It was a lot that we did not have on the website. So a lot of the stuff you're seeing in here, these guys weren't on there. This wasn't on there. So a lot of these guys are now on the site. So I now understand why when I get messages on Instagram, people are like, I can't find this. And I'm like, it's on the website. It wasn't actually on the website. I was so confused. I was like, why can't anyone find this? So this wasn't on there. This little dragon on like a little half shell. It's like almost like an oyster. Anne says, would mom move to Asheville?
That's the goal.
That is the goal. I'm trying to talk her into it. So far, she doesn't like the weather, and she thinks I live in so we took her on this really steep drive. I don't know what Greg was thinking about.
And this was like a decade ago.
And by decade, I mean 20 years.
Wow. Probably just, thinking
I'm going to paint that tooth because...
but then it ended up being too twisty turvy.
It was too twisty for Ma. But I would love it if she would move close by. I told Azaro, said, if we could have like a family multi-generation home situation, I would love that situation for us, because that seems like the most ideal way to take care of everybody. If you have young people and old people in the same home, seems like pretty good. Get to help each other. If you need childcare or elder care, it's all in the same type situation. I'm going to paint this tooth because you know what? It's funny. This little tooth is one of my best sellers at shows. And people pick it up and they're like, what is happening here? I'm going to go low. Clem says, I'm recovering from 2025. Man, I would think that's for sure true. Oops, sorry. Oh, you know what would be a good one is this one right here. So when you're working with these paints, I've shown these a million times. I love these for metal, and I bake them after. I put a light coating. I don't coat them with anything else. You can put these are clear coats. This one has iridescence, but they have a bunch of different ones. Satin finish, matte finish. Let me see, what's this one? That's a shiny one. But if you can find the old bottles of these, they're pretty good. If you see the old bottles, I would get them because there's like almost twice as much stuff in there. But they've changed the formulation, so it's a little bit liquidy. Yeah, it's hardcore. I'm gonna put my glasses on. You see my glasses? Oh, here's my optivisors. Oh no, I don't. Okay, I'm going to get the paint on the edge of this little cat's tongue or filbert. I think that's, if it's squared off, I think is that cat's tongue, is that shape? When it's kind of sharp.
I'm not
like
the right person to ask about brush shapes. I do not know.
When it's like this, I think it's called a cat's tongue. Wendy says, we are strong, folks. We are strong. But sometimes sometimes it's tiresome to always be so strong. Right? Sometimes you want to just sort of relax the grip for a minute and stop it's nice to not be with everything. Frustrated, I guess. Not frustrated. What's the right word? Exhausted, exasperated. There's a lot of words that could describe. I guess I have to go it down here unless I go like this and go really low. Let's see. Adjusting this so it's not just focusing on the background. I want it to, so we can see this. All right. It's funny how this tooth is one of my best sellers. I don't know why. It just is. People like a tooth. And, I'm like, are you a dental hygienist? Or a dentist? And they're like, no, but I have a friend who is, and they would like it. This is showing it has like a little divot, like it's his nose, but he just looks surprised. I had a tooth that came out, and it looked like it had a face on it. And it's funny? I won a prize when I was a kid. Like in second grade, we had to design a poster for our local dentist, and I won the prize, and I drew a tooth that had a face on it, just like this. And it was the award-winning poster.
Weird since day one.
Weird since day one. I modeled it after my own tooth, and the tooth from my poster as a kid, the winning poster. Oh man, I gunked up his mouth and his eye. We'll go back in there and fill it. That cute? Okay, we'll let it sit there. Wendy says tooth fairy boxes might be a big seller, I would think. Maybe, you never know. But it sounds like a two-parter, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound like it'd be two pieces? Maybe. I had when I was a kid, we had these little treasure boxes that were either the shape of a tooth, and it was a little plastic box, or it used to be like a treasure box, and it was just big enough to hold a tooth. It was like this big. And they were really cute. I probably still have it somewhere. Shannon says, replying to Clem, me too, had a rough surgery and family passing. Onward to 2026 and hope it's better for you and all. Yeah, I would agree with that. I hope it's good for all of us that we have some good news, all of us. It's something special happening. You never know what will happen. Just I try to think of things positively.
Gratitude.
A lot of gratitude.
Always wake up and find something to be grateful for, even something small,
Mm-hmm.
because then it can really set the tone for a whole day of even though things can sometimes be hard, having constant reminders of gratitude is like, at least for me, it makes my mind feel calm. Be like, this sucks, but you know what? I have a home to live in. My family's okay. My cat's okay. I'm blessed and lucky. There's food on the table. Even simple things that we take for granted. Just reminding yourself of that kind of gratitude can really improve a day that might feel sucky, or after you see something horrible on the news that you can't do anything about. That's at least what I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or I write it down. Feels good to write it down.
Processing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have got, this is my privilege that I can I can sort of turn off the news a little bit, because sometimes I feel like, me knowing about something horrible will not change the fact that something horrible happened. And another person told me, they're like, well, that's your privilege to be able to do that. And I was like, it is 100% a privilege to sort of tune out a little bit. And I think as humans, I don't think we're designed to constantly have the world, the weight of the world on our shoulders. I think it's kind of enough to just have the community's worth, just
That's what
local
our brains
news.
are designed for.
Just local news is enough. We don't,
humans are designed to not know everything. Where our brains can't take it. We're supposed to be small community and only know like a certain amount of people in our lifetime, and that's why it can be kind of mentally exhausting, I think. Or this is something that I read online, so it could be totally false, but I think it sounds like it makes sense. It can be mentally exhausting to know and see everything that's happening all at once when our minds are designed for small community. Just like I'm getting overwhelmed right now with this kind of cruddy playlist that they gave us. It was started out good with instrumental, delicate synthwave, and now they're doing like hardcore and then singing. It's like,
like, you guys.
if this next one isn't good, then I'm gonna find another video. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, be grateful every day. I feel like that is the truth, because it's hard to be kind of really focusing on the negative when you're thinking about the good things that are in your life. Like, hey, I'm awake. I woke up today. That doesn't happen for everybody. Hey, here I am. I have another day. Today could be the best day of my life. You never know. And sometimes it happens to be that way. You never know what the day will bring. But it has the potential,
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I think that disaster can kind of teach you that. Like, going through our experiences with disaster kind of really force that home, because what, it is small things like having water and looking around at everybody and realizing, hey, we need this to live.
It was especially, when we had to go down to the neighbor's house and listen on the radio, because they were like, they had like that one of those cranking radios where it was like it had access and we didn't have internet. Hearing about all the stuff, the news, like the reports of how many people were missing, it definitely drove home the gratitude, being able to look around my house and see that there's no holes in the roof and all of my family is still here.
Mm-hmm.
And all of my friends are, stopping by my house and that they're okay too, and like it was considered lucky to
Mm-hmm.
have just a little bit of flooding in your house.
Mm-hmm. That was lucky.
Because some people's houses just don't exist anymore, and
Mm-hmm.
all of their belongings. I actually met on New Year's Day. I went to Sarah's house for that lunch, and there she had her friend Lori, that was her across the street neighbor, who was a potter, and she's still a potter, but she lost everything in the hurricane, and so she showed me some stuff that she had done, and she's actually about to get a new studio. And I am in line to get some ceramic star buttons from her when she's back in business.
Nice.
But, it just goes to show we still have all of our stuff. We don't have to start over.
Mm-hmm. And that we know so many that have had to start over. So that's, we've been really lucky. And like the damage we've had over the last year with our floor and everything is nothing to what some of our friends have had. So it gives you perspective, like you're unlikely to complain when your friend that is sitting there talking about having to like replace the roof and whatever, and you're going to be
or living in one of those FEMA trailers.
Yeah, they're living in a FEMA trailer. You're unlikely to be like, well, let me talk about how I have it bad. You're going to just be like, hey, actually, we're sitting pretty good. So it's good to have that kind of moment. I should have done that first, which you saw me do, is the background. But you know what? I can always hit it. This white is being kind of murky today because I did not shake it all the way through. And I only shook it lightly. That's one of the things about these paints. They have marbles in the bottom. I don't know if you can hear it. And if you don't shake it, because that marble, if you just get the top portion, which will be the sealant, this is a very strong sealant. It's like outdoor sealant or something. It's very thick like that. It's not as much like matte medium, but it has some element in it that makes it dry fast. It's like alcohol based. But if you don't shake it good, like this whole part of this white was mostly medium. So when I did glazing, it's really translucent. You see what I mean? It's like a very sheer, like a sheer layer that you can see through. Shannon says, haha, life's too short for crummy music. Well, sometimes it gets, you want to have, something.
I will change it so fast.
Wendy says, too many choices and stimuli out there. I'm not surprised people get overwhelmed by life, get sick physically and mentally. Yeah, that's for sure. Nancy says, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year.
We have a new, I made a new thumbnail for the stream. We've been using the same one. That's like the dark blue hydrangea with magic hour on it for like all of the thumbnails on all of our live streams. So today I redid it. And I made a new one, a fresh one. Because I usually make a new one every time we do a GBE event for like, the spring or the winter or whatever. So we have a fresh one now.
Thank you for doing that.
It looks good. It's got stars on it.
Sandy says, hi, I would like to purchase the tooth bead. That's good news because we have it listed. So that's good because I didn't for a minute. Shan says, it's okay if the white is a little murky on the skeleton. He's already dead. Yeah, I'm going to make it pop here in a second. You'll see. I'm going to make the background a little more. I'm going to wake it up. One of the things about this paint that's kind of annoying is that it dries really fast. And I'm going to give it a squirt with some, my friend makes this Appalachian Sacred Smoke. It's a grounding spray. You're not supposed to, it's not meant for this, but we're going to do it anyway. And give myself a squirt. I spray that like 50 times a day. I love it. All right, you can see it's kind of, one of the fun things too is you can always, let's see right here. My tray of things. I have a tray next to my, like a rolling tray. It is stacked to the ceiling practically. It's like, it looks like it could topple over at any point. I'm going to go back over this tooth with this more intense. Oh, Nancy says, my son and his family live in West Asheville. We're so lucky too. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we're not. There are a lot of businesses that see, there it is. That's what I was looking for. And you know what's good too is if you have a piece of wire or pipe cleaner, you can make a handle. In this case, I was thinking about it, and then I couldn't remember where I put all of the pipe cleaners or piece of wire. I didn't feel like getting it. But if you have a piece of wire, and I am sure I have some sitting here that I could use, but that makes it even easier. Or you could do it one side at a time. That's the other way to do it. If you didn't bring that, one side at a time. Oh, no problem, Sandy. Yeah, it's on there and on the website. Let's use some of this. After I mix this a little better, you can see you get a nice cut. It becomes more opaque, which is what you want. And so I'm just hitting the tops of the skeletons, bones. Oops, almost dropped it. And what I'm doing, I'm using the side of the brush and I'm just sort of too much. See, if you go too wet, it can fill in, and I don't want it to fill. In this case, I did already fill, but I'm using the edge. If you use the edge to go over it like this, just gently like that, it can just gently hit the surface. And you don't want it to go into the details. But if it does, it's no big deal, because what you can do is do a wash with this dark right over top of the whole thing if it does. If you painted this whole thing white and then went over top the whole thing with a dark, like this dark color, it would show up really nicely. And you could also hit it afterward with a little bit of that sanding sponge, and that would make that a lot nicer. But one key is not to leave too much water on your brush. When you're rinsing it, you want to rinse that, then make sure a lot of the water is pressed out. That way you have a higher concentration of the medium and pigment, and you're not just you're not weakening your film. Everybody's been talking about that show Fallout. I need to watch it. Everybody's talking about this show Fallout. My brother was like, have you seen it? Have you seen this show called Fallout? I'm like, no, I didn't see it. It's advertised to me though like crazy. But I haven't seen it. So I'm going to. I have some black left here, and I want to use these while they're still active because this dries really fast. But I want to show, this is one of my favorite ones that I painted, was this one. I painted that on a live, I think. Did I paint this one live, Azealia?
Maybe.
I don't know, but I like it. It's one of my favorite ones. And I did this, wanted to show that. And sometimes, like I got these guys ready. I did white on their hair. They're going to get ready to have their color because the white, some people say the white is unnecessary. Like Wendy will say, oh, you don't need it. It will be enough brightness. But putting a white layer under it will make your other colors pop. Oh yeah, dark humor hits the spot sometimes for me. You know what? I would agree with that. Dark humor can hit the spot. It can hit the spot. Max loves this movie called Tucker and Dale. What's that movie with Tucker and Dale?
It's just that. It's Tucker and Dale versus Eva or something.
Yeah, well, it's kind of horror comedy. And usually I don't like horror. I don't like anything too scary, I know. But, you know, I don't want to fill up my head with anything that I don't want to live there. I only want good things. That's that privilege talk again. Sometimes not all good things can live in your head. This is a good time for that piece of pipe cleaner right here. This is what, or you just wait, give it a minute. But you know what's good news is we've had a lot of orders coming in, and we saw one from one of our customers in Japan, which was good news because for a while that was, orders were kind of getting sparse. But I thought about it and I thought, hey, I bet this is because the cost of silver has gotten to be so crazy.
I'm glad that we don't primarily sell silver.
Yeah, if we primarily sold silver, what the heck would happen?
GG's, bro.
I don't know what would happen. Hey, look, what if we painted? What color should we paint this face? What if I painted it like a doll? Would that be weird? Let's see what happened. I just had a. I don't know. We're going to be experimental tonight. Play mad scientist. Let's see. I'll make it kind of rosy color and see what happens. Maybe. This one has an interesting. Mary says, "Are you selling the painted pewter pendants you showed in previous lives? They were in a tin type container." Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I do sell them. I sell them at shows because it's hard to sell them in online because I'd have to take pictures of each one.
Yeah, they're all one of a kind.
They're all one of a kind, so it's really hard to sell them. But and I sell them for, was it $12? 12,
you
depending
have
on the size.
More, I believe. believe.
It depends on the size. If they're really little ones, it's like $4. I don't charge a lot to paint because look how fast they take me to paint. But some of the bigger ones, if they're already like a big piece of pewter, a lot of material, then I charge a little bit more for it.
You're quiet all day long. As soon as we're streaming, then you're hacking it up right next to it.
Wendy says, I love those iridescent paints you have, Cynthia. Thank you. Yeah, it is super crazy right now, Shannon. Shannon says it's straight up insane right now. It's like I saw something that the UK was trying to ban turkey tail mushrooms, like the kind that you find outside, like banning the sale. And I was like, ho ho, everybody, what's that mean? That means they must work well. That's a little cynical, I know, tiny bit cynical. But when I see that, I think, hey, somebody must not be making any money because otherwise, who cares, right? Nobody's banning carob chocolate. Or nobody's banning. I mean, like, why ban it? Like, one reason. Oh, because there's no evidence that it does what it says. That's what they said, but there is evidence. So,
well, if it didn't do anything, then why ban it?
yeah, exactly.
Like,
why ban it?
Nobody's banning, like shiitake mushrooms or portobellos. So what's going on?
And you can eat a turkey tail. They taste good. We grew them on the counter. Maybelline says, if I find a photo, could I send it to you and then get invoiced? It's possible. Yes, do it. And Bonnie says, does a lot of the sterling come from other countries? Sterling does come from all different places, but the thing about sterling is that it has a lot of uses. So the main thing is it's kind of a steady thing, I think. Like they think of it like how gold, if you buy gold, it never goes down. You're never going to be out money if you buy gold because it's always going to go upward. And it used to be with silver, it never went down. But you know what? When it was it's gone up so crazy. I couldn't believe it. I kept waiting for it to go down. But it's getting to be where I saw someone say that they don't think it'll ever go down and that, in fact, it's going to be right up there behind gold. This brush had a little bit of wetness there. It kind of looks like a little bit, I don't know, there's a couple places where it's resisting. It might be a little bit oily. We'll see how that looks. Well, pewter comes there. You can mine pewter because it's tin. What you're getting is you're looking for tin. That's what most of pewter. If you add other things to it, like in the old days, they added lead to it and to thin it out and make it stretch farther. And that kind of pewter, you can see it has a kind of a gray tone to it. Well, it's very gray. It's a dark gray. I don't think it looks that good, but everybody's different. I don't like that. And people say, does this have lead in it? I'm like, listen, I'm not going to sell and make something that is going to have lead. I mean, I live
here.
Yeah, I live here, yo. I'm not going to.
Speaking of color pewter, I got an email the other day from a customer in the UK that was like, I got all my stuff and it was beautiful, but I'm super duper disappointed that the owl pendant isn't green like pictured. And I was like, green? So I looked up their order and I clicked on the picture and it was like, I guess our pewter was so shiny in that picture.
It was reflecting the background.
It was like reflecting something, but it wasn't, I would not call that green. I think they were just tripping.
Mm-hmm.
But they were like, why isn't it green? And like it literally says it's just pewter, like gray.
Yeah,
pewter.
I'm sorry. Pewter is not naturally green or any color.
And it says in the title of the listing, pewter. Mm-hmm. Not green pewter, not painted pewter, not tinted, just straight up, you guys.
Pewter.
That was goofy. That gave me a laugh.
Bonnie says, could you melt down sterling cups and forks? Yes, and we have many, many times. Many times have we done that way. And that works good because, you know what? A lot of that, in that kind of sterling, sterling means that it has 92% of actual silver. The other percent comes from copper.
And it's
sterling,
925.
Yeah. And there are some, there's some recipes, like our Shibuichi has a recipe of copper, the amount of copper, it's like 4 to 1 or like 3 parts. I actually don't know what exactly the thing is. It's like 3 parts copper, 1 part silver, and that makes Shibuichi. I'm not 100% if
Right.
that's exactly accurate, but you get the idea. Like it's a recipe, or well, basically what an alloy is. You have two kinds of metal melted together, which is not the same thing as, say, if you're thinking about like reticulation, is where you have two types of metal, like copper and silver, that has a high copper content, and then a torch is used on it, and to bring all the silver up to the surface. That's something different. So that's not, like, people have asked me, is it the same thing? It's not the same thing. We'll let that dry on that side. Yeah, Melanie says even those are expensive. A sterling salt spoon can cost like $50. Oh, hello, June. Hello, hello. Yeah, it's one of those things, man. Silver's gotten ludicrous, and I'm disappointed. Everything. So earring wires, all the metals. That's what Ann says. It's going to drive the cost of all metals up. Yeah, our pewter has gone up, unfortunately, and we've maintained. We haven't, like, every time a price change happens, we don't automatically. And I know it's goofy. People are like, you need to keep on that because you're losing money. And I'm like, well, that is true. Basically, where you lose it is in the labor. That's where, because if you're metal, you just take less on your amount that you get paid for your labor. Or you don't sell it at all because there's a cap on how much people will spend. I know people will argue with me right now and say, Cynthia, you just got to raise it. But I have experience in this, being as I've been doing this almost approaching 30 years of doing this. If it's too expensive, it doesn't matter. People are going to eat. Your customer base is going to shrink to, like, the few people that can afford it. So you have to decide, am I going to sell a few at a higher cost or many at a lower cost? And my strategy has always been to sell at a wider base. But that doesn't, sometimes that's good.
It makes more sense in our case because we sell components and not finished jewelry. Or we do sell finished jewelry, but we mainly sell components. So it makes sense to sell a little bit cheaper because then it's also good for our wholesalers. And we've kept a very loyal wholesaler customer base.
We have some of our wholesalers that have been with us for decades.
Yeah, so
literally since the very beginning, I have some of the same customers who have been placing orders with us. So, there's a benefit to that. But that's one strategy. So I do have things happening that I do sell, like paintings and things that are not sold, that I sell for a lot more. And I think that's okay, to have different price brackets. In fact, I think that's one of the things that keeps us afloat in this time is, like, say I have a kind of a weak show or a weak event, but then I sell, someone emails me and says, hey, I love that painting or whatever. Then, I can sell a painting and I have a couple different price points, or a nice finished necklace. And it's multiple price points.
The smartest way to do it, especially for shows.
It's been good for us. So it's not good for everybody. Some people, you can, if you live in an area where they're very wealthy, then you can maybe do a different strategy. But where we are, even though there's a lot of wealthy people, are they the ones attending your event? That's one of the things you have to factor in your event. Like if we were selling, so I've been wanting to get into the Southern Highland Guild craft show. It's a really nice show, but it's really expensive to get in. And even though it's really nice, they have their average customers. I mean, that show, you'll see people will have one ceramic cup that's selling for hundreds of dollars because it's done in a technique called sgraffito, where they're carving. Each cup is hand carved, first thrown, and then hand carved with a design. And it just makes it, it's basically one of a kind.
I have a Sgraffito Robert Smith mug that Diane gave me.
Yeah, that's one of a kind because it's hand
awesome.
carved.
I love that.
I mean, that one wasn't hundreds of dollars, but it wasn't a cheap date.
It's a nice mug.
But you know what? You feel fancy drinking out of it, don't you?
I do feel fancy.
Something special. So, every once in a while it's nice to have something like that, I think. I like this purple. So you can see if you paint on top of a white layer, you get more saturated colors. Wendy says, sometimes you just have to bring in those lower cost items to get people hooked onto your stuff. And dang, are you both crafty salespeople? Oh, thank you. I try to be. Oh, Karen says, the first time I saw your work was on the Lima Beads website. Oh, yeah. Lima Beads have been a very, very loyal customers of ours since. Okay, so she was pregnant with her first, and I was also, Azalea's was not even a year old when we were introduced. They were like new on the scene, and we went to a party in Tucson, as it were. We were in Tucson at the Botanical Gardens, and there was this really beautiful get-together that one of the magazines threw, and it was for their advertisers. So Lima Beads was just beginning to advertise. We had been advertising for years and years, and we knew everybody there. And years and years, I mean like 5 or 6 years, right? So it's not decades, but 5 years. So we were introduced, and she gave me this set of baby blankets for Azalea because Azalea was still small, but she was pregnant at the same time. And I sent her something, and we kind of became fast friends that evening. And since then, they've been one of our most consistent. Like they keep us, with our wholesalers, they keep food on the table, which is, in this day and age, a lot of our friends, they're doing something else, like especially glass bead people, because that's a hard row to hoe selling glass beads in this day and age, because you can get them now. And people say, why did that change? Well, it changed when things could be bought cheaply from China. That was the beginning of the end for that market. I mean, you can still find handmade glass beads, but it's not at like the shows. It used to be you could go, and there's still one show left, I believe, called the Sonoran Glassworks show in Tucson, and I think there's the International Glass exhibition. But it's not like it used to be, where there were at one time, I mean, shows you couldn't go a weekend without there being a bead show. It was good times. It's really good times, and all the crazy, unique, antique things you could find. It was so good. People would have beads that had been tucked into their collection for 20 years. And it was fun because some of these old hippies had some good stuff. And it was one of the highlights is to dig through. As you all know, I like to dig and get in there. So it was always kind of fun to go through collections. And it is true, Wendy, when you have a few smaller sale items and you get people where they start off, they might not be able to afford. And I will tell you, one of my tactics, this is a tactic that I've been doing for years and years, and it's the long game. But if there are young kids, like, young girls like 10 or 12, or if there's boys that are at the table and they're interested, I will be like, how old are you? And if they're like, I'm 10, I'll be like, all right, you can pick from, and I'll give them the parameters. You can pick from these 2 trays or whatever. It's like the $8 beads. And they'll sit there and pick them. And while they're standing there, my idea is like, hey, they might be future customers. And that does sometimes pan out, because we've had customers come up to us and be like, hey, you know what? Your bead started. Like when you gave me that bead, I became obsessed with beadwork, and now I have a business making and selling jewelry. So that's one of the fun things. I'm like, well, that's good news. One of our customers, her business name is Stone Cooper. And we met her when she was 12. She orders stuff for her line. This is a fun one right here. I have it hooked on my bag, and I made it so that the paint, I sanded at the tops. And by sand, I mean that I just dusted the top with a light going over with a sanding sponge. And that will hit the highlights and make it where you can see the metal underneath. And that's kind of a cool effect. This is called an imperial crocodile salamander, if I'm not mistaken. I would like to see that in real life. One of the things I like about visiting Florida is all the creatures. We saw so many. Like, you're just driving along, and all of a sudden there'll be snowy egrets, you know, right there in the median, foraging, right when you're sitting there waiting for the traffic light to change. Snowy egrets. And 3 separate times I had to stop in traffic to let a family of sandhill cranes walk across the street in front of me. And I was like, this is one of the things that is underrated about Florida, is all the wildlife, how crazy it is. Like, we're standing here and these prehistoric looking, like 4-foot tall birds are just casually crossing the street. Hey, what's going on with this, yo?
I'm adding something so we can link it. You
'Cause
can
I
switch
can't
it back
see
if you
how-
want to see it, but I'm linking it right now.
Like, I can't see any comments. What's happening
You don't
to
need to see
me?
the comments right now.
What's happening
I'm
to
doing
me?
something.
Oh, Connie says, I love wood storks. Yeah, they're beautiful. Shannon says, so many cool birds in Florida. Oh, Wendy says, Anne, I must say the star earrings I made with your beautiful red stars were my favorite holiday earrings this year. And Anne says, thank you, Wendy. That makes me happy. I love Anne's work. If y'all don't know, our friend Anne Gardan makes beautiful enameled pieces that she enamels, I think, on the torch. I'm not really sure how you enamel them, Anne. But enameling is glass over metal. And we recently had some of Anne's things in a kit.
This is very irritating. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find it where it's like the newest stuff and it keeps putting up old stuff.
Yeah.
And see,
always
here's the
trying to
newest
link.
stuff at the very bottom of the page. I'm like, bro,
Come on now.
how do you make this normal? Come on now. Sorry. I'm trying to drop a link to it and make it where it's just showing the new stuff, but for some reason it's not organizing it the way that I told it to. It's defying me openly. I'm just gonna, okay, you guys, I'm gonna drop a link to this search engine, or this, to the website, and to see the newest stuff, you'll see it kind of at the bottom of the page. I don't know why it did that, but it's there. And then it'll show you all the good stuff, because I tagged it newest pewter, and then I typed in on the search bar newest pewter, and for some reason it was showing older pewter first. I don't know how to fix that, but
Hey, do you have
here
both
it is.
sizes of this starfit or the seahorse?
Yes. Yes, because that smaller one is on there right now.
Oh, I see.
That's the newer one, the small one.
I see a comment. I didn't see. What's that? Go down there.
Here.
Because I see Anne says torch mostly. And then Cecilia says, I bought all the bead caps and love them. Yeah, they're wonderful. You know, they make good earrings. I sold the earrings. I should have taken a picture. But we made some during the live. The ones I made during the live did sell. Oh, okay. Bonnie says, those are sandhills, Cynthia. They are just hanging out down there. Yeah, I love them. Sandhill cranes, they're beautiful. Yeah, that's good. You know what? That's one of the things. Maybelline says, I've also bought sterling jewelry from young artists years ago, and now they're making high carat gold jewelry. Unfortunately, I can't afford them, but I am happy for their success. Yeah, that, you know what? One of my goals in life is so that I can make high carat gold items. I love gold. I would wear gold every minute of the day. I like imperial silver. Imperial silver is gold that is kind of like how it's there's like a small percentage. I want to say it's like 10%. I can't remember the percentage of the gold, but it gives the gold or the silver a look that's kind of lightly. I mean, it's not this color because that would be, it's like more like 14K. That I was using pigment powders to get it to look like gold. And, it's not bad if you're going to, just for funsies. Like this is a gold paint here. Oh, no, that's ochre. Here's the gold one. Matte brass. I've had the most success doing the gold with the pigment powders. So if you have gold powder and you use these, you can get some really pretty effects. And when it highlights, it just looks like highlights on the gold. So let's try this one and see how it looks. This one is a Victorian gold. This is part of their older collection. I love how much you get in these containers. I kind of don't like that the other ones are small, but there must be a reason for it. So let's use the gold on, what one do I want to see in gold? Let's do, this is on there too. This one would be good with, I want to make a bracelet with seed beads and leather. This one I have not really worked with that much. I made it and I call it the big E clasp because it's like an E shape and it kind of looks a little bit like a bra clasp. I think it's durable enough that you could use this on something lightweight. I don't know. It's not bendy, but, and this is not bendy. I have a couple of spoons. I like spoons, especially to get, like I want to make some in Shibuichi for hand creams and things. Let me see which one would look good in gold. Let's try this one and see what happens. When is the next TGBE event? It's coming up. It's coming up soon. It's coming up soon. Real soon. In like 2 weeks. It's right before we leave for Tucson. So I will drop some links. I cannot believe. I mean, I had that. I had it written down here, but I left my notebook in the other room. I'm going to drop it again. I'm going to make a post to show when that's happening. Because it's going to be a good one. We have some guests. I was going to ask my friend Kira if she wanted to be on the show. Because it's kind of fun to have new people. It's been, the TGB, I tell you, that was one of the best things that we ever did. Because we made so many friends. And we were already friends. But it's been nice to have something that's consistent where we meet up. This is really wet, so I'm going to put this here to balance it there and dry. Oh, thank you, Cecilia. January 17th. Thank you. Wow. Bonnie says Minnesota is a fun place to see sandhill cranes in the spring and fall. Wow. I didn't know they had them there. Anne says, I'm finishing up all the crochet necklaces I made over the holiday. Thank you, Cynthia, for helping me finally be inspired to use my stash. It's good to use your beads because guess what? You can't take it with you. You can't take any of it with you. And better use it than just, like, I don't know, let it sit. This is one Greg made years and years ago. It has a dolphin. And let's paint it with a little bit. It looks kind of like an old coin. So I think this one would actually look pretty good. With this, they call it Victorian gold. If you're looking for this one. Called Victorian gold. There's nothing on the back. This is one of Greg's really early pieces. Yeah, that one looks pretty good. I like how that looks in with the gold paint. Kind of looks like bronze. And what's fun is when this gets dinged up, it will have a highlight of pewter, so it's still metal, it won't look. This one is kind of thin spots, so you can kind of see a little hole. That doesn't affect the usability. It just makes it look like an even more antique piece. I'll put that there. I could do a sheen on the top of this tooth. Is that crazy? Uh-oh, he has gold in there. Isn't that funny? He's got a filling on the top of that tooth. Maybe I'll do some on. So fun to paint these. I tell you, I could do this all day long. In fact, I have many times just sat here with the TV going and chit-chatting with Azalea and painting these guys. I paint these little frogs, and I love them in the gold. Ooh, let's highlight this crow with a little bit of gold and see what happens. That'd be pretty. And sometimes you can use that. You get your brush saturated, wipe off some of it. It's kind of dry brush highlighting. Sometimes, but this, it might, if you highlight, expect it to kind of come off soon. So I'll try going on a little bit of the recessed areas to get some of that. And I'm using the flat part of the brush. And just in the recessed areas, we get like a kind of a little bit of a gold sheen to get some of the details, you know. I could go over the whole thing again. And then blend all of it. Looks pretty good. Gives it an antique feeling. Oh, thank you. Yeah, they look good. They're so fun. And you know, the paint, if you were to get a set, they have them at different craft stores, but you can order them. They're not very expensive. We did have a set from our friend, and this was in the set. It was white. Let me see. Black. There was yellow and white and black, and that's what we sold in the set. And that one, oh, and a clear. And you can get just about any color combination. And if you bought pigment powders, you don't necessarily need these. But if you got these, then you can get a nice glimmer. And that gives you, like, this one has a little bit of iridescence. That's kind of fun. I like doing that. This has the same effect here. But this is pigment powder used with this stuff. So you can get, like in real life, this has almost a watercolor effect on the patina. And as it wears, I mean, I could go over this with a little bit of a sanding sponge and highlight the pewter parts. But this coating, this lasts for a long time. I've coated, or I've painted several pieces, and you know what? Sometimes I'll carry them around in my pocket. And you know what will happen is you'll get a little bit of, like this one, where some of the high points get rubbed off. And that's okay, because you know what? We're not trying to disguise that this is pewter. There's no reason to disguise it. We're just painting it and putting a patina. Long have I wanted for there to be colorant on metal. I mean, it was like, if back when I first started, if you wanted coloring on your metal, you had to do, your choices were, there was this book called Metal Finishes and Patinas. It's like that thick. It's a great big book. And it had all these recipes for doing real patinas. And by real patinas, I mean like ammonia, salt, sulfur, sulfites, different things like that, where you use chemicals and you chemically change the pewter or the metal, or you use a torch or something like that. It was kind of a hassle. And I remember one of the recipes was to take ground up, you first roughed up the surface, then you used colored pencil. And with the colored pencil, then you went over that with different layers of sealant on top of the colored pencil. But the problem is that colored pencil is a wax-based material. So already it was kind of, it wasn't, you know, it's not ideal, I don't think. I tried it and it did flake, so it wasn't perfect. But I think these haven't flaked. They adhere well. And if you put these in, I have this little oven that I'm going to toss these guys into. It's a little convection oven I got off of Amazon, I don't know, years ago. It's for like rotisserie chickens, to do like a little rotisserie chicken. But I use it for pewter painting and polymer clay. And it works great. And it's just a dedicated polymer clay oven. But doesn't this look fun, all these guys? Oh, I should do one little, the patina powder one is beautiful. Oh, thank you. Yes, that one came out pretty good. This one also, this is not the pewter or the patina powder. This is just these guys in different. This is a good question. Maybelline Perry says, do you recommend paints used for models or gaming figures? Those will work. Yes. I've used them. Testers paints. Those are pretty hardcore because you have to use mineral spirits to break the paint down if you're cleaning your brushes. But those are like the ultimate. Like I forgot about those. Yeah, you can use those, and they will stay. And it's kind of like the painted pewter pieces from like when I was a kid. I'd find them. You know, you could find them in like at old flea markets and things. And like the testers work well. I saw some. I don't remember the brand, but they were in really small jars. And I haven't tried those, but I can't imagine they wouldn't work. If anything, you could use them and then maybe get one of these guys at your craft store, go over top of it and bake it. Sometimes the baking is where it's at with sealing it and hardening the finish. Nancy says the colored pencil on metal washers was a fun project to do with my elementary school students. Yeah, that's a fun one, but it's not as durable of a finish. Well, good thing these are this paint dries up really fast. Otherwise, that could have been awkward. All right, I'm just going to go over the whole thing and then pick out the details so you can see it. How cute this is as a freshborn, as we used to call babies. When we were little, someone said to me, "Is this your firstborn?" And referring to Azalea, but in her mind, she heard freshborn, and she goes, "Yes, I'm Mama's freshborn." That was so cute. We all laughed, and we were charmed, of course. But you can really see it with out all the shininess. I'm going to flip this over and get the back side of it.
Baby's the freshborn now.
Baby's the freshborn now.
He's using the collar as a pillow.
That's what that's good for. It's like a travel pillow for him.
Crying. Cries so hard. It's my son.
Got her little toes on that. It's so cute. Look how cute Azalea. That's you.
Cute. Wow.
That's you when you were little with your little legs tucked in, hiding in a leaf. You know what? When Greg and I were getting married, there were these big leaves. I can't remember the name of them. They were big enough that I could wrap that fresh, warm bundle of Azalea in the leaf for the photo shoots. It was really darling. So anyway, that's little daughter. It's not dry yet, but anyway, I'm going to flip the camera around. All right, my friends, let's get this wrapped up. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I had a good time. I hope you all have fun with us, hanging out, crafting, getting all this. I'm trying to move this out of the way so I can see the thing here. I see. Oh, there's so many comments I didn't see. I see one. Do sponges work with the paints? Maybe after for a new color effect. Maybe. Nancy says, if the kids' artwork made it home, they were lucky. Yeah, that's true. It's that a lot of my stuff didn't. You do. Clumps is replying to that. And interesting, I apparently cannot pick up anything metal that I see on the ground. So I have a whole collection of washers. I'll have to try decorating them. You know, there was a project that's making me think of with washers. It's like right in the back of my mind. I feel like it's like right there, but I don't remember it at this point. Shannon says, love the koi goldfish. Reminds me of my dad. He built a fish pond in our backyard growing up and had many freshwater fish tanks. I am a big aquarium person. I noticed Azalea had the tank off, and I was like, man, I hope she didn't have it off the whole time. Please.
Earlier?
Well, just in general, because the tank needs to be turned on.
No, it was plugged in. It was plugged in the whole time you guys were gone. I didn't unplug it. If you unplugged it today, then yeah.
Oh no, not unplugged. I've kept fish for a long time, and I love having freshwater fish. But you know what? It's like having it's a whole nother job. It really is, because you have to keep track of those tanks. Melanie says, love hanging out with you. Same, Melanie. I would love to hang out more. We were talking about how to do the Zooms. It's on one we have to take care of here so we can do some fun meetups. Neil says, thank you. That was fun. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and painting pewter with me. Yeah, we would love to have some hangout times. Azalea and I were talking about how to do that. So we're going to do some more research. It's coming up to a head because we need to do it soon. And we were talking about doing a knotting class. We've been talking about that for like months now, and it's coming to a point when it's going to happen. It for sure is going to happen. We just have to get the right plan, and none of that stuff is free. That's what. If you're wondering what's the holdup, well, because there's like a million plans of these things, and they all have to work together, and that's the hard part. Like if you have Restream or StreamYard, and you're trying to launch out of two different platforms, it can be tricky. So that's
because not everything's compatible with.
Not everything's compatible, and that's why there's difficulty. Because even when we've been doing streaming for 5 years now, it's not easy to get things to work together. We've had to change our setup twice now. So hopefully there aren't any more changes, and we can add another thing. We would love to be able to add a digital classroom or a hangout room, as it's called. I don't know if it's called that. I'm calling it that. But all right, my friends, that's when are you headed to Tucson? Well, that would be, let's see, probably January. Like January 27th-ish, around that time. I have not bought my tickets yet. I know, living on the edge. I have our digs, but sometimes you have to mix and match and wait till that money comes in. Debbie says, I was making bracelets while you were painting.
Are we going to fly out there?
Yes. As I says, are we going to
Thank
fly?
God.
We are flying. Yeah, I don't believe I could do a 3-day trip to drive out. I do like to drive, and I have many times driven out to Tucson. But it is 100% critical you get two people on the same page that like to do it. Because if you don't, it's not that fun. If you have someone that's like in it to win it, it's a blast where you will have the time of your life making that drive. But it can sometimes not be that fun. So especially if you're pressed and you're rushing, that is not fun. But anyway, we're heading out that way. I'm going to make a post here soon to ask what y'all want. I know a lot of you, and we interact through not only the comments, but in different formats of emails and things. And I know what y'all like just from, so I know what I like, and I know what I'm going to be shopping for. What I love to find are the unique things that you can't just, open up your browser and put in and get right away. I love finding things that have been buried and kind of magical. All right, my friends, I am ready to relax. I've been relaxing all day, but I'm ready to do another round of relaxing. And I will see you on Wednesday. On January 17th, we have the TGBE. We'll be seeing you on that weekend. That's Sunday. That's our day, because that's Sunday. But we go live that Friday to do the preview night. So if you're not doing anything, join us, because it's a good time. There's going to be a special guest. I think 2 special guests that weekend. So if you want to get some inspiration for crafting, that's a good weekend to tune in. If you don't tune in, you can always watch the replay. They're available all on the YouTube. All right, my friends, it was awesome hanging out with you. Thank you for joining us here in Asheville, North Carolina. And we will see you on Wednesday. All right, my friends. All right, good night.
Bye.
We love you out there, my friends.